Thank you so much. Welcome to Srirangam. Yesterday, Guru Maharaj was here in the evening. He came around 6 o'clock and he spent time up for about 2 hours. He gave a class here and he addressed many questions. And they were showing mobiles. Guru Maharaj, time up, time up. He was showing that and he was talking. And he was speaking. For about 2 hours, he gave a lot of association, and the heart was filled. It was all flowing. A lot of devotees came, and that's it. Guru Maharaj was very happy, and he said that in Srirangam is a very special place for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and we need to have a very special center in Srirangam. So this is the instruction he gave yesterday also. Before also he had given. And he asked our devotees to work cooperatively and perform wonderful devotional service, because Srirangam is a very holy place which is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam and in many other scriptures. So it's a very important place. This is the place from where Gopala Bhatta Goswami hails, and Lord Chaitanya stayed here for 4 months. So this is the longest after Navadvip and Jagannath Puri. So Guru Maharaj said it's a very important place, and he also announced that there is Gopala Bhatta Goswami's house. There Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally hand carved Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra deities, small deities, and you can have darshan of those deities. And Guru Maharaj announced that very soon that temple also will come to ISKCON. We have been trying so much, and since he has announced yesterday with his lotus mouth, and we are pretty sure it will come and it will work out. And I'm sure Krishna will bless us to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, it's very important for us before going to have the darshan of Srirangam and to the house of Katha Bhatta, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, etc., and the darshan of the deities of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, etc. And I think also, yes, there is also the Samadhi Mandir, the original Samadhi of Ramanuja Acharya. This is, I think, it's an amazing and so important holy place. I remember one time we came on the safari a few years ago, and the pujari gave us the special darshan of the fingernail, the original fingernail of Ramanuja Acharya. His body is here, his original body, but the fingernail is still growing. How many years? Already 1,000 years before, he was put on Samadhi here in Srirangam. A few years ago it happened that we came here for the 1,000 years anniversary of Ramanuja Acharya. I don't think this is just a coincidence, it just happened to be during the safari time, so we could be part of this historical event. That event went to his birthplace in Sri Perembatur, maybe about 1 hour from Kanchipuram, and then we performed an amazing cultural program of 4 or 5 hours in his birthplace for the first time. On the day that they celebrating the 1,000-year anniversary. It was something really, really amazing. So now we would like to hear from His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Narasimha Swami Maharaj and from His Holiness Bhakti Narasimha Swami the glories of this place, and especially for us, as mentioned by Nanda Putra Prabhu, this is a Vaishnava place where such a great Vaishnavas, they born here. Actually, this is the birthplace of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. His birthplace. I understand that when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, he was just 8 years old. Well, it was a boy. Can you imagine getting the blessing from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 4 months? No? Okay, maybe Maharaj, you want to say something first? Say something first.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Hare. So we thank Lord Jagannath and his devotees for allowing us to stop over here and take good darshan. I was just asked to speak of the cup. I'm not familiar with these places, but the most important thing about this place is that when Mahaprabhu came here, he converted the family of Venkatapata to Gaudiya Vaishnavas. They were the followers of Sri Sampradaya before. And then another important leela about this place is that it is associated with Sri Ramanuja Acharya. So Sri Ramanuja Acharya, he became an Acharya after Yamuna Acharya. And Ramanuja Acharya, when Yamuna Acharya passed away, he was not present. But the 3 fingers of Yamuna Acharya, they were open, and other fingers were closed. Because he had an intense desire that Ramanuja, when he came, he would give him instructions. I don't remember exactly those instructions.
3 instructions.
3 instructions. What were those 3 instructions?
One is to name after Parasara Bhatta and Vyasa name and Parasara name to name after some Acharyas. That is one. And translate this Vedanta Sutra.
Vedanta Sutra, yes. One is that he had a desire to name a great devotee after Parashuram
And Vyasa.
Parasara Muni, who is the author of Vishnu Purana. And then another desire was to
Vyasadev name. Second. Parasara and Vyasa and then Vedanta Sutra.
Okay. Also to compile what Vedanta Sutra. Yes. So when Ramanuja came, then he saw these 3 fingers. Or 4 fingers or something.
3 fingers are folded like this.
Yes, 3 fingers, yes. So then he could understand what were the instructions left for him, and he fulfilled those instructions. Yeah, Ramanuja Acharya, he fulfilled those instructions of Yamuna Acharya. And that's what I remember about this place. How this temple was built, I don't remember exactly, but I remember those details. So it's a very, very special place of great Acharya, 2 great Acharyas, Yamuna Acharya and Ramanuja Acharya. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So this Srirangam is the largest Vaishnava temple in India, or in the world, you could say. They say, of course, in Angkor Wat is a big temple, but you know, there's nobody doing puja there. It's just ruins, Angkor Wat. And it's not even a Vaishnava temple. They worshipped forefathers. But Srirangam, the worship of the deity of Lord Ranganath, has been going on for a very long time. Ramanuja, as we heard 1,000 years ago, and before Ramanuja and Yamunacharya, his guru, and before that many other gurus. So it's a very ancient temple, and it's surrounded by 7 walls. The reason was because they would get attacked. They would get attacked by the different opponents of Vaishnavism, especially neighboring kings who were Shivites. They would want to convert, to take over the nature of the king is to expand the empire. So they would come and they would attack, and they would have to defend the temple. And then after they'd be attacked, they build a wall. And then after some time they come back and attack again, so they built another wall. Ended up, you've got 7 walls around the temple. So sometimes hundreds of Brahmins would be killed defending the temple, defending the deity. They would give up their lives to defend the deity. And rather than be converted to Shivaism, they would go to sacrifice their life. So Lord Chaitanya, as we heard, he was coming down South India traveling, and he came here, and it was at the time of Chaturmas. So he was invited for prasadam at the home of Venkata had invited him. Venkata was one of the pujaris of Lord Ranganath. So he'd invited Ramanuja, and he'd invited Lord Chaitanya, come and take your prasad at my house. And while he was taking prasad, Venkata said to him, he said, now is the beginning of Chaturmas. You should stay here now. You should stay with us and tell us the glories of Lord Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya accepted the proposal because Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas in the line of Shankara. And so they followed that kind of principle. For during the Chaturmasya, they would stay in one place and do some austerities. So Lord Chaitanya was staying here, and every day we'd discuss with Venkatapata and the family, and they would talk about the glories of Lord Krishna and the relationship between Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna and Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, because the Sri Vaishnavas, their devotion is to Lakshmi Narayan. They consider Lakshmi Narayan the Supreme Lord. They don't consider Lord Krishna to be the Supreme. They say Lord Krishna is like Avatar. So that Lord Chaitanya explained to them, no, actually Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he explained also about Lakshmi, how Lakshmi desired to enter into the Rasa Leela, and she could never do it. Although she desired, she could never actually enter into Lord Krishna's Rasa Leela. So in this way, Lord Krishna was establishing the superiority of the worship of Lord Krishna over the worship of Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayan. And so every day Lord Chaitanya would go to temple. An important pastime took place here. Every day Lord Chaitanya would go to the temple, and he would see there's another Brahmin there who was trying to recite Bhagavad Gita. But he could not recite very well. And the other brahmanas who were there, they were mocking him and ridiculing him. Look at this fellow trying to recite. Bhagavad Gita, of course, is the basic, the most simplest of all shastras. But the brahmana, he had not had any education really, and he had great difficulty trying to read. And as he was reading, he could see, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could see tears coming from his eyes. So Mahaprabhu then approached that man and requested him, "My dear sir, please tell me, what are you doing?" And the brahmana said, "My spiritual master told me every day I should read the Bhagavad Gita." So Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, very good. You've full faith in the order of the spiritual master. That is very good. Yashya deve parabhaktir yatate deva tataguru." One who has equal faith in Lord Krishna and in the spiritual master, then all of the purports of the scriptures are revealed very easily. So Lord Chaitanya congratulated the Brahmana that you're so faithful to the order of your Guru. Very nicely. But please tell me, why are you crying? Why are you shedding tears? And the Brahmana said, whenever I look, he said, my Guru told me every day I have to read Bhagavad Gita, but I cannot. I'm not educated. It's very difficult for me to read. I don't know the language. Look, why are you crying, Mahaprabhu asked. The Brahmana explained that whenever I look at this picture of Lord Krishna, how he is the chariot driver of his devotee, he said, then the thought of Lord Krishna becoming the charioteer of his devotee, it causes me to weep, that I shed tears of love, that Lord Krishna is so kind upon his devotee. So Mahaprabhu, when he heard this from the Brahmana, Mahaprabhu embraced him and said, you are the real reader of Bhagavad Gita. You don't understand the scriptures just by academic knowledge, but one has to understand them by devotion, the proper mood, the mood of devotion. And Lord Chaitanya saw how this Brahmana, he had that mood of real devotion. So Mahaprabhu congratulated him, and every day Mahaprabhu would come to the temple. He would spend time with the Brahmana and he would teach him to read the Bhagavad Gita. Mahaprabhu was here for 4 months, and so every day he would spend a little time with him and he would help him to read Bhagavad Gita. And in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his mercy on this illiterate Brahmana. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu staying here at the home of Venkata, he could give his association to Gopal Bhatta. Later on, Mahaprabhu, of course, when Chaturmasya was over, Venkata Bhatta and family said farewell to Mahaprabhu. At that time, Gopal Bhatta is still young, but after some time, then he wrote to Lord Chaitanya and he wanted some instruction. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, you go to Vrindavan and take shelter of Rupa and Sanatan. So Gopal Bhatta, of course, he went there to Vrindavan, and because he was from the Sri Sampradaya, he had a good education, he had a good background in the Shastra, and he could help so much in editing scriptures and even writing some scriptures himself. And of course the deity of Radha Raman is there. And Prabhupada said that the deity worshipped there at the Radha Raman temple. He said that is the best. He said that you can learn from them how to worship the deity, because it was Gopal Bhatta Goswami who was worshipping the deity, and from Shaligram Shilas. He had gone up to Ganduki and he brought some Shaligrams back, and he was worshipping the Shaligrams, but he was thinking it would be very nice to see the form of Lord Krishna. And so it happened. The next morning, from his basket of shaligrams, he found there was the form, one shaligram had transformed into the threefold bending form of Lord Krishna playing the flute. So that deity, Radharaman, that is worshipped there in their temple in Vrindavan. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Just give it. So Mahaprabhu enjoyed association with the family there. They were pujaris. We heard the father, Venkatapata, he was engaged in the service of Lord Ranganath, and his son naturally had an inclination also to worship the deities. And so he was there in Vrindavan. He got self-manifested form of Radharaman there to worship. And that worship is being continued. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he never married, he remained completely celibate. But his disciples, they took over the worship after he departed. And they continued to worship, and the Goswamis there, they call themselves Goswamis, but they're usually householders. Right? So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, it's from here. Prabodhananda Saraswati was the uncle of Gopal Bhatta, one of the brothers of Venkatapata. Prabodhananda Saraswati also went to Vrindavan. And he resided in Vrindavan, and he wrote many books of very exquisite poetry describing the beauty of Vrindavan and the glories of Vrindavan, and saying that anyone who comes to Vrindavan and leaves there, he must be mad, because Vrindavan is the most holy place. So Prabodhananda Saraswati, he lived there in Vrindavan for many years, roamed about, and completely detached from the material world. They came to Krishna consciousness by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Lord Chaitanya came here, he could convince them of the glories of the worship of Lord Krishna. So they all came here. So those are some points. Maybe Prabhu wants to.
That Satkriya Sar Deepika and Sanskar Deepika, written by Gopal Bhatta. Yeah. Satkriya Sar Deepika.
Savita, which is about deity worship. Samskar. Yeah.
Hari Bhakti Vilas, edited by
Bhakti Vilas edited.
Hari Bhakti Vilas.
Hari Bhakti Vilas, edited by Gopal Bhatta. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So is it like that? Gopal Bhatta. Alright, so any other things, any other pastimes about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here? Ramanujacharya was the temple president, right? And before him it was Yamunacharya was the temple president. They were in charge of the temple worship. And at some point there were attempts on the life of Ramanujacharya by the Shivites. They wanted to burn out his eyes, and Ramanujacharya's servant Kulesh, he disguised, he put on the dress of Ramanujacharya, and he got arrested, and his eyes got burned out. But then later on, he came back to the deity. Which deity? Ranganath, Lord Ranganath. And in front of Lord Ranganath gave back his eyes. So, Ramanuja Jayapataka Swami Maharaj said, Ramanuja had 30,000, how many disciples? Well, 3 lakh. Something like 3 lakh disciples and 700 sannyasis. All assisting him in preaching the message of Sri Vaishnavism. When the Sri Vaishnavas, when Ramanujacharya also, of course, he came to Navadvip. And when he was in Navadvip, Lord Gauranga appeared to him and told him that you don't need to come here. You're not needed here in this place. You're doing very well, preaching your Sri Vaishnavism, but we don't need it here in Navadvip. We worship the Lord more naturally. The Sri Vaishnava system, they give great importance to the worship of the deity. And they worship the deity with great opulence. As I said, they're devoted to Lakshmi Narayan. So their worship is very opulent, and often they have immense jewelry, the beautiful jewels and ornaments for the deities, which are very, very valuable. So that is their system of worship, because it's the mood of Vaikuntha. They don't believe in Goloka. Goloka is a different place, you know. You go, if not everybody in Vaikuntha knows about Goloka. So for the Sri Vaishnavas, their goal is simply Vaikuntha. They don't think about Goloka. They've never heard of Goloka. They worship the Lord in Aishwarya with great awe and reverence, with great opulence. You know, our system is, you know, with dancing, singing and ecstasy and everything. That's not the Sri Vaishnava. The Sri Vaishnavas, they worship the Lord. Even the Rath Yatra is very sober, and they will recite many mantras, they will recite prayers. You know, they're very regimented and organized. It's with the mood of awe and veneration. But our mood in Krishna consciousness, the system of worship is more Madhurya, right? Madhurya Ras. And that's why we have the big mandap in front of the deities, so that we can dance and chant. But the Sri Vaishnava temples, often it's a small area.
They consider Lord as a king.
Oh yes, they consider the Lord like the king. Yeah. Lord Ranganath is the king. So you come before the king, you must be very respectful, right? You can't take up too much time with the king. Move on, move on. So these are some points to understand.
First deity in the material world. It's the first deity. It's
The first deity, first deity in the material world, from Lord Brahma.
Yes.
Lord Ranganath.
Coming from Vaikuntha.
Huh?
Came from Sirot. Lord Ranganath came from the Ksirsagar. Ksirsagar means milk ocean.
Yeah.
Actually, Brahma requested him, I want to worship your deity form. Then Lord gave his form. Actually, up to then it's worshipped by the Brahma, then Ikshvaku.
Which form did he give? The reclining, that big?
The whole sanctum. Whole sanctum is given from Lord, then Brahma to the Manu, then Ikshvaku, then it came to Ram. From Ram, he handed over to Vibhishan. Vibhishan brought here.
Yes.
The reclining?
Yeah, whole, yeah. Because Vibhishan is like he came from the Rakshasa family, he's so mystic. He basically carried the whole sanctum. Actually, from 2 pillar and the whole sanctum is brought from there.
But Lord Ganesh became preaching.
Yeah, that is there. But because this 8th place of Vishnu is called Swayam Dekta Sedra, where Lord personally want to come. Because when Vibhishana got this deity form, that time there is one king, Dharma Varma, he also came for Pattabhishekam for Ram. Then he prayed to Ram, please, praying to Ranganath, please come to South India. So when Vibhishana came here, actually Lord made a trick, and he put down and he started doing his Gayatri. So he settled here. Then he told, Lord told to Vibhishana, I want to stay here because a lot of devotees like to worship me. And Vibhishana asked, what for me? I will see in the south direction, especially for you. I will give blessing. Every day, still now, he is coming and worshiping. Every day. Vibhishana is a Srirangam, so every day still he is coming and worshiping.
But Vibhishana got to Jagannath Puri and worship Lord Jagannath.
Yeah, this both first time is there.
Ganesh is Mula, the cause of putting here. Ganesh, not Ganesh.
Yeah.
But that Sri Vaishnava was not agree this. That's why I didn't told. There is another person is there. Why he put this deity down means Ganesh came as a small boy. He accepted I will take care. Then he put down. Then started. And he is there in there is in the top of the small mountain. The Ganesh is there. This is according to Smartas. Sri Vaishnava says, Lord personally want to settle here. There is a 8 place, 4 is in the South India. Srirangam, Srimushnam, and Namduneri and Tirupati. The 4th place Lord personally want is called Swayam Yakta Setra, where Lord actually he personally want to stay here. Actually, it's a original first deity form in the material world.
I remember the first time His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj brought us on safari to this place, Srirangam, which was in 1992. On safari. And he's a witness, he was in this safari. Ananda Ludulal Prabhu from Malaysia. There were about 30 devotees of Malaysia, all the brahmacharis. You see, at that time he was brahmachari. He married so many years, all life married, and now again brahmachari. Banachari, okay? And there were about 30 devotees from Malaysia, about 30 from South America, and another 20 from the whole world. There were maybe about 80 devotees. And then, this is the headquarters of one of the 4 Sampradayas, the Ramanuja Sampradaya, Srirangam. And the Acharya of the Sampradaya, he welcomed the Safari devotees. He came to the house of Katha, and he was talking. He wanted to give a message. He talks to say for about almost 1 hour, but he only talked Sanskrit, direct Sanskrit. All the no in Tamil or English, So His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, he was translating to us from Sanskrit to English. So the first time I see I didn't know his Sanskrit was so fluent, and then I remember he giving the blessings at the end. He giving so many blessings to him. He said, I cannot remember exactly his words, but it must be recorded. He said, I bless Jayapataka Swami to have thousands of disciples like Ramanujacharya, to live long life. He gave a lot of blessings to him. So we were very happy for such a very touching moment. And then, anyway, before because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was here for so many months, at that time, can you imagine 4 months? It is 120 days. Every day is the meal of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. every day he will go to Kaveri River, for instance, to swim every day. So when we come, because unfortunately this time, you see, we have short time here, you know. Otherwise, we will go all devoted to Kaveri River to swim. To remember this lila of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we would like to hear, so the sound like this, more leelas, little bit at least for a few minutes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srirangam, okay? From His Grace Nanda Putra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Along with this, last time he was talking about in 92 visit, there is the GR, is called the Ramanuj. I was here at that time. So GR Swami, that is one of the Ramanujacharya Parampara Acharyas. He is the one who spoke to all the devotees in Sanskrit language, and Guru Maharaj translated. And he told one very special secret. And if anybody wants to hear the secret before the lunch. The secret is, he said, wherever in the world you are, maybe in Africa, maybe in America, maybe Malaysia, maybe south, down south, and towards the direction of Srirangam, you take 10 steps. And while taking each step, chant Ranga, Ranga, Ranga. You can chant now also. Ranga, 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 Ranga. You take 10 steps. You take 10 steps while chanting each step Ranga, Ranga like that. You pay obeisance, and the special mercy of Rangana will be on you. And you will have visited, you will have all the benefits of having visited Srirangam Kshetra. There is no expense, you can just come 10 steps. So actually I request all of you, at that time Guru Maharaj told, if you want to take 10 steps, you can take. And I got on this, and whenever I remembered, I was in Trivandrum, Kerala, and I came along with this group of devotees to visit Srirangam. At that time, he told anybody who wants to take 10 steps, you can chant, can take these Ranga steps. Guru Maharaj told. So it became authorized. So I used to take 10 steps whenever I remember. So finally I landed here, 10 steps. Finally I came to Srirangam. So that is a fact. You will have all the benefits of having visited Srirangam by taking 10 steps. Because all of you to please take 10 steps. I have no bad intention to bring all of you here, but take 10 steps. Right. And another one is Lord Chaitanya, because it's too late for the lunch. Then Lord Chaitanya stayed here. Maharaj was talking about Bhavan Goswami. He was only 8 years old. And he was serving his old parents. And when he was 33 years old, he went to Vrindavan, and that time he couldn't meet Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu had told Rup Sanatana Goswami that you give these two things, his cowpea and his seat. That was given to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and he said Gopal will come, that time you give these two things to him. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami went to Vrindavan, and somebody asked a question to Guru Maharaj, how come Gopal Bhatta Goswami, when he was 9 years old, 8 years old, he met Mahaprabhu, how come you remembered for so long? How come you did not forget Lord Chaitanya? When Guru Maharaj said that this boy, he was a small boy, he was in charge of cleaning the place where Mahaprabhu was staying. And seeing his eagerness, he will somehow, he will hide and see what Mahaprabhu is doing there. One day he saw Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu saw him hiding and seeing. Mahaprabhu showed him the Shadbhuj form. Jai Guru Mahaprabhu ki. And 3 times he showed. Another time he showed his Radha and Krishna form. So that is why he did not forget. For 10 years he remained brahmachari. He did not forget Mahaprabhu, and he came back to the shelter of Mahaprabhu again. And his parents were also very much supporting him, saying that you can go to Lord Chaitanya after we are dead. So he followed that. The both of them passed away, and he went to have.
I think Lord Chaitanya told him to take care of his parents and then go back.
Yes, Lord Chaitanya also told, take care of the old parents and come, because he just preached to them, right? So he didn't want any, there are also like acharyas, chief priest of Ranganatha Swami. And another one small pastime is, the Lord Chaitanya stayed here for 4 months. Each day, one Brahmana used to call him for lunch prasadam. And every day he used to go one Brahmana's house for prasadam. And by the time 4 months are over, and Mahaprabhu was about to leave, the time there were so many more Brahmanas, they couldn't feed, they didn't get a chance to feed Mahaprabhu. So then they cried, they requested Mahaprabhu to stay some more time, so that he can also have honor prasadam from our house. And then Mahaprabhu said, don't worry, in future, so many of my followers will come, you feed them. That will be as good as feeding me. So sitting in Srirangam, that's what we are trying to do. For us, you are all not just devotees, you are all representatives of Lord Chaitanya, and we try to feed you. You kindly, whatever difficulties, problems, kindly tolerate and accept our prasadam on behalf of Lord Chaitanya. And because we see you all as Lord Chaitanya's representatives. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
We're going to explain the sequence that will be our program today. The prasadam hall is very small downstairs. Only maybe maximum 60 devotees can eat there. But the way we're going to eat all at the same time, instead of having 2 batches or 3 batches there, we're going to go to the prasadam hall. The plates are very hard plates, so whenever you have your plate ready, you can either eat in the prasadam hall or come to the temple room and eat here, okay? So we're going to eat in these 2 places, okay? The temple room here and the prasadam hall. Okay, Maharaj will be, and Prabhupada disciples and Maharaj is after one room for you to take prasadam. Okay, this is regarding prasadam. So let me see the time now. 2:30.
2:30 open only Rangana.
Okay, you see the temple, I thought it was we closed by 4, but it is closed by 5. So to say half an hour, after half an hour, we're going to meet outside the temple and we're going to do a Harinam procession towards Srirangam. So the walking is not even 10 minutes. It's very close. Very close. Yeah. Actually very close when you reach the temple, but the temple is so huge that you pass in too many gates. So one gate, another gate, because the temple is huge.
7 gates.
7 gates.
It's like Vaikuntha. It's like Vaikuntha.
In each direction, isn't it?
Each direction 7.
Each direction they have 7 gates. They have. Don't get lost. Please stuck together because the way we enter, we're going to exit the same because they have 4 entries, 4 exits. This temple. It's not like we went to Tanjore that you go in, the bodies can space out, take photos here and there. Not like that, okay? We must stick all together, okay? Otherwise it will be very difficult for us to manage the time, okay? So on the way before entering the place, you have to keep just attentive. We're not going to announce too much. There is a place where the footprints of Lord Chaitanya are there. I believe they were installed by one of the disciples of Srirangam Prabhupada.
After the 4th gate, we should not take photograph.
Okay. And regarding photo, we're going to make this announcement now. Okay, he said up to a certain point you can take photographs. After the 4th gate, please Prabhu, we're not going to take your mobile from you. It's not like Tirupati Balaji, but your mobile in the pocket, Prabhu, please don't take it out after the 4th gate. We don't want to get into trouble. Some people to try to squeeze one photo here and there. Better don't try to do this, bro, okay? You put it silent mode, bring it with you. The people also, of course, if they see you taking a photo, they take the mobile, they will throw it, they will smash it like this. But we don't want to go through this embarrassment. We want to build the good relationship we have with the temple management. Okay. Now I